Part 1. The Rift. The USS Akasha floated in the abyss, its hull shimmering under the distant light of a dying star. On the view screen, the Sahasrara Rift pulls a spiraling maelstrom of violet and gold, twisting reality like a ambious strip of spacetime. Captain Rowan Atri leaned forward in his chair, his dark eyes locked onto the anomaly. Something about it felt different, not just a cosmic disturbance, but a presence. What if this isn't just an anomaly? He thought. What if it's alive? Science Officer Commander Ilara Vasquez was already scanning it. She frowned at her console, pushing her short auburn hair back. "Captain," she said slowly, "this isn't behaving like a standard singularity. It's not warping space-time like a black hole. And it's not a stable Einstein-Rosen bridge either." Atri folded his arms. "Then what is it?" She hesitated. "It's emitting fluctuations that align with brain wave frequencies. It's responding to our presence, as if it's aware we're observing it." Silence spread across the bridge. A low hum vibrated through the Akasha's hull. The rift pulsed again, and for a fraction of a second, the stars bent. The view screen flickered. Then they were no longer alone. A being of shifting light materialized before them, suspended in space. Its form flickered through colors beyond the visible, spectrum geometry that the human eye struggled to interpret, as if it existed in more than 3 dimensions. The crew tensed. Hands hovered over consoles ready to react. But Atri felt something deeper, not fear, but a knowing. Then the being spoke. Not in words, but in thought. "You are shifting through billions of realities per second. Choose the one aligned with your highest truth." Part 2. The Observer's Paradox. Atri's breath hitched. The words, or rather, the understanding resonated inside him, bypassing the limitations of language. "Who are you?" he asked aloud. The being pulsed. Its voice wasn't heard, but felt. "We are the ones who have stepped outside the stream of time. We are not your past. We are not your future. We are the space between your thoughts." Vasquez's hands danced across her console. "Captain," she said, her voice unsteady, "this entity isn't just communicating. It's altering our perception of causality. It exists non-linearly." Atri frowned. "You mean it's not bound by time?" "Not in the way we are," she confirmed. "It's perceiving all possibilities at once." A thought struck Atri like a jolt of electricity. "Quantum mechanics. The observer effect. We know," he murmured, "that at the smallest scales, particles exist in superposition multiple states at once until observed. But what if this applies not just to particles, but to entire realities?" The entity shimmered. "Time is the illusion of a mind that believes in limits." Atri exhaled slowly. His hands gripped the armrests of his chair. "Are you saying that reality is a choice?" The entity did not answer. Instead, the ship lurched violently. Part 3. The Fractal Collapse. Alarms blared. The Fractal Warp Core, Starfleet's newest experiment, in-dimensional. Navigation was destabilizing. "We're losing containment." Chief Engineer Talara called from below decks. "The ship is phasing out of reality." The view screen flickered. The Sahasrara Rift was growing, stretching into them, pulling them into a space where time folded in on itself. Then, all at once, silence. The bridge dissolved into darkness. The crew was falling, yet motionless. They were inside something vast, infinite, an ocean of probability where time was merely a suggestion. Atri tried to speak, but had no voice. Yet, the entity was still there, spiraling in impossible directions. You seek the future, but the future is a choice. Atri's consciousness expanded. He saw branches of existence, countless versions of himself, one where the Akasha was destroyed, one where they never encountered the rift, one where humanity transcended the physical world altogether, and then one where everything made sense. Part 4. The Meditation Experiment. The crew awoke on the bridge, their bodies untouched, but something had changed. The Akasha was suspended in an endless void, surrounded by shifting fractal patterns of luminous energy. Atri turned to Vasquez. Ideas? She took a breath, centering herself. Sir, if what the entity says is true, then we're inside a reality governed by perception. Our thoughts are affecting the ship. If we panic, we collapse. If we focus, we move, Atri finished. Vasquez nodded. I suggest an experiment. A collective meditation synchronized at a quantum level. If we align our consciousness with the rift's frequency, we might be able to will ourselves back. The idea was insane, and yet it made sense. All crew prepare for guided synchronization, Atri commanded. They sat in silence, eyes closed. The hum of the ship faded, replaced by the rhythmic vibration of existence itself. They let go of fear. They became the moment. Then, a flash, and they were somewhere else. Part 5. The Impossible Future. The Akasha emerged in orbit of Earth, but it was not the Earth they had left. The planet shimmered with crystalline structures, rising from oceans that glowed softly with bioluminescent energy fields. Cities hung in mid-air, suspended not by engines, but by forces unseen. There were no highways, no pollution, just an elegant flow of people and objects that moved as if guided by thought itself. Vasquez gasped. Captain, what is this? Atri stared in silent awe. The sensors displayed 0 carbon emissions. No signs of war, no signals of distress, only an intelligent, harmonious design. Then the Archon shimmered into existence once more. You did not travel here. You remembered here. This is a possibility waiting to be chosen. Atri's voice was barely a whisper. This is a future where humanity evolved. The being pulsed, radiating a feeling of confirmation. Talara, ever the skeptic, folded her arms. What exactly evolved? Technology? Biology? Neither. And both. The crew exchanged glances. Vasquez's fingers danced over her console. Sir, I'm detecting no traditional power sources. No nuclear, no fusion, no antimatter. Yet, this civilization is thriving. The energy signatures are biological. Talara's Vulcan logic kicked in. That is not possible. The Archon pulsed again. It was never technology that needed advancement. It was consciousness. Once your species learned to synchronize mind and matter, the rest followed effortlessly. Atri swallowed. You're saying they're using their minds as the power source? They are using reality itself. As do you, but unconsciously. Atri's pulse quickened. Reality itself? A memory surfaced his academy days, studying quantum decoherence. The double-slit experiment had proven something extraordinary. Observation collapses. Probability into reality. And now, the Archon was confirming that this was not just true at the quantum level, but at the macro level, at the level of entire civilizations. Vasquez exhaled. They've mastered the observer effect, at a scale we can barely comprehend. Atri turned back to the Archon. Are you saying that we could have chosen this reality all along? The being's glow intensified. You are always choosing. Every thought, every belief. Every assumption, each one, is a coordinate in spacetime, directing the reality you step into. Silence fell over the bridge. Then Vasquez asked the question that had been gnawing at them all. Then why don't we see this reality in our timeline? Why is humanity still struggling? The Archon pulsed. Because your species believes in struggle. Part 6. The Test of Belief. The weight of those words settled into Atri's mind like a puzzle clicking into place. Belief, could it really be that simple? Could the course of an entire civilization be shaped not by external events, but by what it expected to be true? He turned to Vasquez, seeking grounding in science. The placebo effect, he murmured. Patients heal because they believe they will. What if that same principle applies to everything? She met his gaze. You're suggesting that reality itself is being generated by our collective expectations. Talara raised an eyebrow. A civilization cannot will reality into existence through belief alone. There are physical laws that govern. Physical laws are agreements, the Archon interrupted. And agreements can change. Atri ran a hand through his hair, his mind racing. If this was true, then what was holding his timeline back? What was keeping his Earth from achieving this? He thought of the wars, the divisions, the endless belief that suffering was necessary for growth. Was that the core difference? Atri exhaled. How do we shift our reality? The Archon pulsed. By ceasing to fight the old and embodying the new. The future is not changed by resisting the past. It is changed by living the version of reality you wish to see. Talara's brow furrowed. That is illogical. A species cannot simply behave as if they are advanced and expect to become so overnight. The Archon shimmered. Yet, that is how all evolution happens. A single mind imagines what others do not. A single mind acts on that vision before it is proven. And then, the world follows. The bridge fell silent. Then, something shifted. The world outside the view screen flickered. The advanced civilization before them glitched, as if the reality itself was unstable. Vasquez's console beeped. She paled. Captain, we're being pulled back. Atri turned to the Archon. Wait, we haven't learned enough. The Archon's glow dimmed. You have learned everything. The question is, will you apply it? And then, the Akasha snapped back into its own reality. Part 7. The Decision. They were back. The rift was gone. The ship's clock showed only 5 minutes had passed, but the crew felt different. A small sphere of light remained on the bridge A. Gift from the Archon, it pulsed with infinite possibilities. Vasquez broke the silence. What now, sir? Atri stared at the sphere, at the endless potential locked within it. He knew that no one back home would believe them, that Starfleet science would demand evidence numbers, equations, things that could be measured. But some truths could not be measured, only embodied. A slow smile crept onto his face. We begin, he said simply. The crew exchanged glances. Begin what, sir? Vasquez asked. Atri turned, his eyes burning with certainty. We stop trying to fix the old world. He gestured toward the sphere. And we start living the new one. As the Akasha turned toward home, Atri knew one truth. The final frontier was never space. It was the mind itself. Final thought. What if reality is simply the version of the universe you are willing to perceive? And what future would you create? If you truly believed you could,